All right, next topic. Okay, it's only 11:30. Next topic. Let me, you guys remember my buddy, his name just flew out of my head. Oh, the surfer guy, our surfer dude. He did the phone call. Someone remind me. I could see his face.
Glenn?
Pardon me?
Glenn?
Glenn. It wasn't Glenn. It was from California.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Doug.
Okay. It'll hit me. It'll hit me before the Doug Becker.
Yeah, Doug Becker. Okay.
I was gonna stay up all night until I remembered his name. Thank you, Dan. Doug Becker. And the Doug Becker is teaching on the phone call. He just totally emphasized that. He goes, man, to do enough dials to make a lot of money, to make a decent income, you know, he said you gotta put in 10 hours of dialing, right? You know, where you do 20, 30 dials an hour. And he just says, man, I book my dialing time like like going to a job. So it's the whole idea of job mentality. Okay. It's a really important point because when you think about applying job mentality to our business, this is where the power of what our business is about can really be tapped into when you treat your business like a job. Okay, so that's sort of the kind of the struggle, right? The kind of the dichotomy or the irony in it. The irony is you're an independent business owner because you own your own agency, or agency of one, or agency of a few, or agency of many. Okay, but you yourself are the agency of one. It's kind of like the army of one. It is you yourself. Okay, you are the one. So while there's an entrepreneur aspect to our business, it responds to job mentality. So what is job mentality? Well, some of you who aren't working a job, and this is your full time, think back to when you work in a job, and some of you that are working a job that have your headset on and you're still working at the job. What are the things about job mentality? Well, you got to show up, right? You got to show up on time, and you can't leave. You can't leave early, and many times you got to stay until the job's done. Your boss wants you in there at 8 a.m., half hour for lunch, and then 5 p.m., okay? Half an hour for lunch, whatever, think back in the day. And if you showed up late, or you left early, or you didn't work, you took 3-hour lunches, you were probably going to be fired, right? The consequence of not showing up, let's talk about consequences, is you be fired. So if you didn't do this, you'd be fired, right? What's the other thing about job? We got to do your job. You got to do your job, right? There are performance standards. Well, unless you're in the government. I can say that because I was in the government. There are performance standards. You can call that results, right? If you weren't getting results, then you could not justify your $10 an hour job, or 15 or 20 or 25 an hour. If you didn't produce results where the company was making money on you, okay, then what's the consequence? Fired. Or they drop your pay, or they move you to another position that didn't cost as much, or something more suited to your skills, right? All the stuff in your own control, right? So you had to show up on time, you had to be there, then you had to perform and get results. And if you didn't do either of these, you get fired. Okay, what are the benefits? The benefits are, okay, so the benefits, you get paid a salary, get your pay, you know, maybe there's health insurance, 401k, right? Vacation, paid vacation, maybe 2 weeks. No, then if you're there 10, 15 years, then it can go up to 4 weeks of paid vacation. You get X number of sick days, or what they call personal days, you know, depending on where you are. Okay. Salary. So everything here is designed to either to where there are consequences if you don't perform. There are consequences for you not doing your job, right? Not doing your job. But if you do your job and you show up to work and you perform halfway decent, you know, you're going to be able to keep that job. Okay. Now, that's job mentality. Now, the problem with job mentality is that, not the problem, but you know, if you choose this road, you know, then the issue of you can't control your time. And you can't control your income. Well, Alex, I can get promoted. Well, okay, up to a certain point you get promoted. But then there's that there's the political kissing the boss's butt mode that you got to be in. Because then there's a certain point where it's political, okay? And sort of the way that jobs work is you're paid in bands based on your skill and education, okay? So you start off at a low band, like they might put you here, and then, or you know, you might start off right down here at the bottom of this labor band here. Let's call this labor band A. So you start out down here, and then they give you raises. You get jamming up the raises, right? But then as you start getting to the top of your labor band, the raises start becoming fewer, and lower percentage. Okay, so they want to keep you in this band. They don't want to, you know, they want to move you up to the mid-level, and then they let you creep up there. Okay, they hope, okay, but then what happens is you change your band, right, to B. Okay, so this is A, this is B. And then let's say you get your master's degree. So you get moved into this band. And then you start getting your increases until you start getting smaller and smaller increases to get to the top of the band. And then let's say you get into a management position, then you get into C, and then same thing happens here. You start here. Okay, do you see how it, and then it becomes political. Whose butt do you kiss? Whose butt do you kiss? Whose butt do you kiss? Okay? Most people don't ever get out. They top out, and they don't ever do those other things that move them to the next band. That's the control. That's how they control your situation. That's what's hateful about it. And so there's always something you're giving up when you choose to do the job thing, right? You can't control your time, you can't control your income, and you can't control your security, right? Because your job can lay you off whenever you want, no matter how good you think you are. Really, your own security is your own ability to work, right? Your own security is in your own ability to work. Okay, so this is job mentality. You got to show up and you got to do your job. Okay, I was going to use an adjective, but I'm not going to use that adjective. And then if the consequences, you get fired. Okay. So how does it apply here? How does it apply to selling insurance as your job? Because sometimes some of y'all aren't at the entrepreneurial thing yet. Some of you came out of a job. Some of you have not really figured out that this is your thing to make or break. Okay, so sometimes you got to go back into job mentality. So that's what we really need to do. It's like, what is job mentality? Well, you got to show up. You got to show up. Hold on. So what do we mean by showing up? If you're full-time with us, you need to book those 10 hours a week on the phone. Just like Doug Becker says, you gotta listen to that again. Re-listen to his, I'll send it out again on his phone dialing thing. Because look, I know, you know, that if I personally booked you 10 appointments this week, you would probably run them, wouldn't you? You'd be all too fired up to run them. So if it's booked, you would go. Well, if I'm not going to do it for you, who's going to do it for you? You. So if you're quote unquote full time, okay, you got to book your 10 hours a week of dial time. Okay. Again, if you don't do it, what are the consequences? What are the consequences? You don't make the money that you were supposed to make. You don't make your nut. You don't make the minimum of what it takes to pay your bills. So would you get fired? No, you just go broke. You're not making any money, which is the same as fired. So if you don't put the 10 hours in, then you should be fired, right? It's a very simple thing. Well, Alex, how do I book my dial time? Okay, well, you got your appointment schedule, right? Then you got your dial schedule. So you dial no further out than 48 hours, okay? And then you have your extra day where on your no-shows, here and here, you book the extra day. This is the catch-up day. Okay, so 10 appointments, and 5 appointments. Okay, so if you're on the minimum wage plan, 20 appointments, then you're booking your dial days here. Okay, so you got to put in 5 hours. Now let's say 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, and then 2 hours. Okay, to book this catch-up day. Okay, or you can go 5 and 5, right? And so what can those times be? 7:30 to 9. Okay, what is that, hour and a half? 5. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's 2, right? 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's another 2. And then 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's another 2. So what is that? 2, 4, 6, 7.5. Wow, that's pretty good. I just said 4, but you got like 7.5 here, and you kill it. Okay. So those are possible times for you to make dials. Wow. So you can put whatever hours you want to do, but those are good times. If you're dialing on Saturday, Saturday from, 8 to noon is 4 hours. That's 4 of the 10 hours. You got 6 more hours to go. Okay, get my point that if you don't show up to work to do your dials, then you're going to go broke and you're going to get fired. Okay? Now, look, were you good at your job right away? No, you were not good at your job right away. You got to do on-the-job training. You got to learn what to do. They kind of threw you in and they try to teach you stuff, but I promise you, the stuff they try to teach you at the beginning is all foggy. None of it made sense until you start doing your job, right? When you start doing your job, it's like, oh, I understand now why those regulations are important, because I need those regulations, you know, those tech orders, so those, you know, I need those to do this. I can't reference when they said, okay, here's your standards that you got to use when you were determining on, you know, when, what widget goes out when and on what truck. Well, you haven't even gotten your job yet to even know what widget is which and where it goes. Once you find out, well, I got a widget and they're telling me I got to send it here. Oh, I got to go to my manual, and it tells me, you open it up, it's like, oh, okay, well, I got this widget, it goes here. Okay, I got to book it on this freight thing, and and this is how it gets there. I don't even know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But eventually you start figuring out where to go to get the information. But you have to get in your job to do it. So then you call someone, hey, supervisor, I need to figure out where I need to go to get this information. He goes, okay, you need to get to that book that I told you about. Oh, okay, where is that? Here, let me show it to you. Oh, and okay, and this is how you reference it. I got it. Got it? Okay, rock on. But you would never have known to do that. He told you before, but you didn't know when to use it or why to use it. But until you're in a situation in your job, then it's like, hark, I need this, this, and this. Where do I go get it? Hey, supervisor, where do I go get it? Okay, let me guide you, right? You guys show up to work, okay? Then you got to get results, right? Okay, so results. So you have to ramp up the results. So if your dialing sucks, we got to get you trained. We got to get your skill. Okay? We got to get your skill level up. Right? So we got hotspot meetings. We got dial teams. Right? We got videos. We got boot camps. We have a boot camp in Louisville on Saturday from 8 o'clock to 3:30. From 8 to 10, Joseph Dukes is coming in from Utah, and he's going to be on the phone dialing. You get to listen to him live, hearing him how he handles objections, hearing him not book appointments, hearing him book appointments. He's going to be coaching. He's going to be guiding you. He's going to be helping you, right? I don't know how long it takes for you to get to Louisville. If it took you 6 hours, it'd be worth it because there's no one around you that you can get around. So you need to get around Joseph Dukes. That is worth the price of admission, which is free, by the way. That's worth the gas. That's worth the time. You know, if you got to leave at 3 in the morning to get there at 8, then leave at 3 in the morning to get there at 8. Go to bed early, wake up early, drive out there and listen to them book appointments, and then stay for the rest of it. And then we're going to probably break bread after at 3:30. And you're going to get around some other top people there, okay? That's how you get your skill level up. It's no different than your boss sending you to go to a training webinar on, you know, how these widgets are built, okay? You know, or, you know, whatever. Some management training seminar on time management. Except it's you having to get the skill level up. So you got to get results. If you don't get results, what happens, right? You go broke, and then you're going to get fired by yourself. Like I always looked at this, like if you were your own boss, would you fire yourself? If you looked at if you showed up at work and you looked at your results, would you fire you, right? So, are you getting the results? I promise you it all starts here by booking your time and getting results. Now, what do you also need? You need skill to get results. You also need resources. Okay, need resources. If you're in a regular job, if you're frying fries, you need to know where to go to get the frozen fries to dump them in the grease. Well, if your grease is running low, you need to know where to go pour in vats of grease. You need to know how to turn on the fryer, right? You need resources. You need to go get training. They need to train you on how to be a McDonald's employee, right? You need to tap into the resources available to help you do your job, right? So we talked about the skill resources here to get your skill up. let's talk about the other resources that you need is you need leads. Leads are your major resource. Unless you want to go family and friends, you can do warm market. Okay, you can do warm market. Okay, and then both these leads to the ERS referral system, where you can multiply opportunity, whether it's more market or leads. So you got to get one or the other. If you're not going to do one or the other, you don't have any resources. If you don't have any resources, you have no one to call. So when you show up to work, you're just going to be sitting there doing nothing because you don't know where you can get resources to do your job. That's like going to work, and you have no computer and no telephone. And you're just sitting there going, well, what can I do? Nothing. And they're going to say, look, you aren't producing. We're going to fire you. Well, I don't have a computer. I don't have a telephone. Well, how come you didn't call us at HR and tell us you needed a computer and telephone? Okay, hey, you think they should have it there, but you need resources. So do you have leads? Are you investing in leads? Are you putting money aside? Okay, are you getting bonus leads from Ginny? Are you calling the bonus leads? Okay, that's the showing up to work thing. Okay, what are you doing in leads? Okay, what are you doing with your leads? And then are you talking to more market? If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. And then are you getting ERS off this, the resources of leads? Okay. You couple skill plus the resources, and then you get results. And the results are results, and then you get coaching. Okay. You get whatever results you're getting, and then you get coaching, real-time coaching from myself or Jonah. Okay. You get coaching to bring you up. Right. Now, look, when you go to a job, are you afraid? You go to a job, you got a good job, whether you're afraid or not, right? Is fear a factor? It could be. You're nervous going to your job for the first time, but you know that if you don't show up, they're going to fire you. They are going to fire you. And people are sometimes so afraid they don't show up to work and they get fired once they get hired. It does happen. I've heard. I've heard about it. It's amazing to me. Okay? Even if you're fearful, you got to show up. Even if you're fearful, you have to get results. You have to start working, right? The results is do. Okay? You got to do your job. And you got to work on your skill. You got to get the resources to do it, and then coaching to help you get better results. Okay? But you got to show up and you got to do your job. Does that make sense? Now, this is simple, I think, but it's a challenge. And you and I have to recognize, yes, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to figure out how to get leads or where to get leads, to work in more market. Fear, you don't like dialing the phone. Okay, neither do I. It's the most boring thing in the world. But you still got to do your job. When you did your job, there are things about your job I know you didn't like. There are things about my jobs, I've had jobs that I hated, but I still showed up to work because I wanted to get the results that having that job gave me. So, look, you know why you're in this, I hope, and you are after results, right? Whatever that monetary is per week or whatever, you got to get the results. You don't get the results, man, you're going to go broke and you're going to fire yourself, right? Got to show up. You got to get results. You got to do the do. Now, if you apply the job mentality of this business, there's unlimited amount of results that you can achieve. You know, Brant Swindell make $500,000 a year just selling. I mean, he made what, 27,000 in overrides last year, but he basically made, 500,000 on the sales side. And Brant, he's just a normal human being. He's got 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 eyes, a brain, and the ability to pick up the phone and book appointments. It's the ability to show up to work, the ability to have skill and develop skill, get resources, and then do the do. Does that make sense? It is this that if you can master yourself and you being your own boss, saying, you employee in the mirror, you need to show up to work. You need to adhere to that schedule. You need to get results by doing the do. And if you're not getting the results, you need to work on your skill. You need to access resources. You need to get coaching. All right? Man, that Doug Becker, he just lays it out very plain and simple what you have to do. Does this make sense, gang? Am I barking up the wrong tree? Job mentality. This is what will make your rocket ship go, man. This is the fuel in your engine. So tell me, what are you lacking? Okay, so this all should really be setting yourself up to ask yourself a question. What am I not doing to implement my job? What am I not doing on my job? I don't want to get fired. Are you showing up to your job? Okay. Are you getting results? Are you doing it? Right? Are you putting okay, it's one thing scheduling the dial time. The other thing is, are you doing 30 dials an hour? Okay, then are you showing up to your appointments? Okay, what do you need? Are you putting the time in? Are you getting the skill? Are you learning the skill? Come out to the boot camp, right? That's gonna rock. Get leads. You need leads. Get leads. Dial the leads. You need to invest in your business, right? So there you go. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm done. Look, gang, you can do this. You have the ability. God gave you a brain. He gave you a heart. He gave you fingers to dial the phone. He gave you the ability to go out and interact with your clients and serve them. Okay? Get with me. Let me know what I need to do to help you in any of this area. Schedule, skill, resources, coaching, whatever you need. Let's get you on the leaderboard next week. Let's get you to be productive, right? Implement. The time is now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Let's figure out what do you need to do today to get out there. Okay, gang? So, man, I am for you. I want you to win, all right? I want you to take advantage of this tremendous opportunity that we have and not be a bystander, not sit on the bench and watch the world of the Alliance go past you. I want you to jump in and start swimming, start paddling fast. And I'm here to help you, man. So God bless you, man. You can do it. Let's get on the leaderboard next week. If you didn't see your name on this week, your objective between now and Sunday is to get your name on that leaderboard. If you don't got an application on yourself, you got a policy on you, you need to get a policy on yourself, man, for all the reasons I mentioned before. Okay, you got your family covered, your kids, your spouse? Do you got the people important in your life? Do they have insurance? Those are the ones that mean the most to you, are the ones you should take care of. I don't care if it's a small accidental policy. It's something that shows that you care about them, that you're putting something in place, man. So God bless. Let's do this thing. Rock on.